Many believers, unfortunately, are fighting fleshy battles. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. What we use to fight are fleshy weapons, the weapons of our flesh. And the flesh doesn't even have any weapon. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So flesh is not a weapon. But many times, many people are caught fighting the battles using their flesh. And the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They are not carnal. You argue with people, you do certain confrontations. You confront a lot in the physical and not do spiritual confrontations. And that's why you realize that it looks like you are still roving around the same kind of problem, the same kind of issue, because you see, we fight a wrong fight. The fight of flesh is a wrong fight. But the fight in the spirit is the good fight of faith. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Romans 7:21 to 23 NIV. Romans 7:21 to 23 NIV. Look at what Paul said. He says, so I find this law at work. Although I want to be good, evil is right there with me. 22. For in my inner being I delight in God's law. 23. But I see another law at work in me, waging war against the law of my mind and making me a prisoner of the law of sin at work within me. There is something called the battlefield of the mind. There is something called a war on mind. Sometimes you see someone engage in all manner of things that are worldly. And like, this person is worldly, this person is this. You rebuke. You use flesh in rebuking flesh rather than spirit rebuking flesh. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. The battle is not first physical, even though it has physical effects. The battle is first spiritual. Before you saw the temptation in the physical, there was already an orchestration in the spirits. The temptation was first orchestrated in the spirit. The trials was first orchestrated in the spirit. There was invisible work in the spirit that was warring against you. That's why sometimes before you say a word, have you ever said something and you're like, how did this word come out of my mouth? It's spiritual influence. Sometimes you say the words that you do not even know. It's beyond your control. You just say it and like, there is a war against the law. Waging. It's continuous. War is continuous. The war, waging war against the law of my mind and making me a prisoner. Something is making me a prisoner of the law of sin at work within me. The battle is not first physical. It has physical effects that was influenced in the spirits. Ways to identify your spiritual battle. It's very important because even when you go to the doctor and you are sick, even though you may look sick, the doctor would always ask, what are the signs? What are the symptoms? Failure to identify the symptom can lead to a wrong diagnosis. Failure to note specifically the symptoms can lead to a failed diagnosis. There is no doctor that will tell you to go to write some specific medical tests for you to go to the lab without first clocking you, asking you symptoms. Failure to identify symptoms will not make you know how to wage the right fight, how to fight the right fight. There's a right fight to fight. But you need to identify to know solutions.